Hi, I'm Jasmine, the sequel, and I am not relatable. Special thank you to my patrons, Wild Rose, Lauren Chris, That British Unicorn, Jam Beans, and Debbie Elliott. I know I say this in every video, but I still have to ask, how is the lighting? I bought my first piece of upgradey sort of equipment for the channel with YouTube money, yay! You guys can't see it, but I have like it's not a softbox, but it's like an umbrella thing. It's behind me, it's meant to diffuse light. It's using some stuff that I already had at home, and I bought a couple of things to make it more accessible and to provide me with like better lighting. So let me know if this looks better than before, or if it's like about the same and I just wasted my money, in which case I will return. I do return things. Up until now, basically, most of her content this week has been pretty inoffensive. It's been a lot of like vloggy type stuff, mostly just like driving around places, which you know Chantal likes to do. So hopefully this week, this video will be shorter. I know a lot of you guys love my hour-long Chantal reviews, but it takes a toll on your girl, okay? There's the sheer amount of editing that I have to put into that video, and then like exporting it with my like crappy computer. It's a nightmare like you would not believe. So the first video that she has is basically she's going to like this, it's like a nature reserve. I've actually been to one of these. We'd gone to Alaska in February this year, right before the pandemic sort of happened. I remember when we were coming back in, there were like 13 or 14 cases happening in Seattle. And I remember we were like, oh, this seems bad. It's starting to spread. And everybody was getting kind of nervous then. But nothing bad had happened. And so it didn't impact our flight. And we came back in. Everything was okay. But yeah, so that's kind of like the time period that I'd gone in. Anyway, when I was in Alaska, I'd gone to the LARS, it's called. It's the Large Animal Research Facility. Research Center? I think it's research center. So I'd gone there, and they had a lot of animals there too. So they had like musk oxen and reindeer and more like Arctic animals, obviously. But this reminds me very much of that. There was a lot of like driving through, and you could like stop at different locations and you could look at the animals. This seems really, really cool. What I will say is I found it a little odd that they were allowed to feed the animals, because when I had gone there, and when I'd actually gone to any like nature reserves, I don't go to zoos. I really ethically disagree with zoos. And I can't make myself put money in the pockets of people who have like for-profit zoos. But there's a lot of places like that have a zoo, but all of the money there is like, it's like a non-profit, and basically the animals are animals that require rehabilitation or that won't be able to survive in the wild. So those places I like going to. And when I've gone to any of those open space reserves, or even when I went to Yellowstone, you can't feed any of the animals. It's very strictly prohibited to feed the animals, because it like messes with the native populations, and it makes them dependent on humans for food, but also like there was some other reason, like it attracts different animals and it like messes with the native populations in some way. And so it was very strictly forbidden. So I'm actually surprised that they're allowed to feed even carrots. So I found that pretty interesting. Other than that, there's really not much happening in this video. It's relatively pleasant to watch. It's very inoffensive. I genuinely think this video could have been like half the length. It's pretty long. It's like 40 minutes long, I want to say. This video could have been like 15 minutes long. She could have cut out a lot of the stuff that felt a little bit repetitive. And yeah, she probably would have made less revenue on it, but I think that would have made the video a lot more enjoyable and would have kept people from clicking out.
Wow, it's really beautiful. Quebec is a very beautiful province. That's why they call it La Belle Province. Might be a bit shaky on these roads.
Then the French always like to pretend they're better than everywhere else. Don't pretend it's not true.
Pete! Don't get offended at me, guys.
You know what? Every Quebecois person watching your video is like, no, it's absolutely true. We do think we're better.
Well, maybe they are. Maybe they are.
I will say, Pete makes this mention about how French people are very rude, and it's funny. I have found Canadian French people to be ruder than like actual French people, and I don't exactly know why. When I'd gone to Quebec, and you guys know I am Canadian also, and so I've been to Quebec quite a few times, and I've had relatively not negative experiences, but definitely not like polite experiences. Like, you know, the stereotype of overtypical like very, very overtly polite Canadians. I've had that experience everywhere but in Quebec, and in some places they were like downright kind of rude. And the weirdest thing was, I always got the feeling that people there spoke English a lot better than they were letting on, or simply were choosing not to speak in English, even though I could not communicate with them in French, right? So I found that a little bit interesting, but, so I found that a little bit irritating. And when I'd gone to France, I had kind of noticed something similar. Now, I think France might have been the exception because, when I had gone, this was like in the aftermath of the bombings that had happened in Paris, and your girl looks like this. So that might have played into it a little bit. Everyone was very on high alert, and there were like armed guards everywhere, so that might have been part of the reason. But also, I think genuinely French people are a little bit snotty when it comes to tourists, especially like North American tourists. I think that they did not maybe like us because we were doing very stereotypical like American Canadian things, you know, like it's a very, I don't know, it's very odd there to ask for like water and like ask for tap water. They'll always bring you like a bottle of water. So I was like, no, I just want tap water. Like I have a thing against bottled water, but I was like, no, I just want tap water. And that struck them as weird. And I had like, I was like, can I please sit somewhere where there isn't someone smoking behind me? Which, if you guys haven't been to Europe, everybody smokes there. It's amazing to me. So that was a really big thing. But what I did notice, there was like a really big divide in like age there. So like older French people were like that, but then like younger French people were pretty chill. And I think that has a lot to do with just like globalization, modernization, just interconnectedness of the world through technology. And so it's broken down a lot of those barriers. So all the younger French people I met, like anyone under the age of like 35 was universally pretty much like cool. Not like everyone, but what I mean is like they weren't like rude to me because I was a tourist or, you know, brown or whatever. But everyone that I met who was sort of like in the boomer age range was maybe not the nicest to me. Not everyone, but like a good portion of them weren't the nicest to me, and I don't really know why. So that's a thing. Anyway, next. So this video is basically her just driving through I don't want to say a drive-by haunt, but it's kind of like Christmas lights, and it's just constructed into kind of like a drive-by experience. You just go through it, you look at Christmas lights. Her and Pete are talking back and forth about nothing in particular, and honestly, there's nothing there that I wish to comment on. This seems like a nice, interesting activity, but once more, I think this could have been condensed down to like a 10 to 15 minute video at the very, very most. Like, I think it should have been much, much shorter. We didn't need to see every single part of this, the Christmas light experience, because honestly, it's not that interesting. I'm sure it's very interesting if you're actually there, but if you're not actually there, if you're kind of like us, you're just sitting there watching her do something, it's not as fun if we can't put ourselves in that position. This doesn't, like, it didn't, I mean, maybe it's just me, but it didn't really strike me as being very entertaining, especially given the length of how long it went on. If it had been shorter, I probably would have liked it a little more. Overall, it seems nice, pretty inoffensive, nothing really else to say about it. Next. Okay, this is the video that I think most people are kind of talking about, and I really do get why. In case you guys aren't aware, Chantal put up this post on her Instagram, and I'll throw it up here somewhere, and it's basically her talking about meet my new boyfriend. It's obviously like a doll. She's trolling for views, I would like to say. But with Chantal, it's sometimes genuinely hard to tell. So she's baiting it in this video, and I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it. I'm on the one hand, it could be real interesting. On the other hand, she can be so gross with her descriptions of stuff sometimes that I'm like already like from the get-go a little bit like, do I want to?
Hey guys, hey. Look at this feast. Okay. I want to try all of these foods. I have been craving an Indian food feast. Yes, I have a wig on, no makeup for the occasion. So, wow, this is phenomenal looking. I really just can't even tell you how good it looks.
That is so much food. I know people like to exaggerate about the amount of food that she has, but that is the amount of food that I would order if I had friends over and there was like 4 people, like me, partner, and like 2 other people, right? Like that's the amount of food that I would order for like 4 adult people who are gonna eat, and then I want some leftovers for the next day, right? So like honestly, this is a massive amount of food. I can understand the idea that you want to try one of everything, and so you just order a bunch of food. I'm not gonna say that I'm not guilty of that myself when I've gone to a couple of like special restaurants, something that I wouldn't be able to access on a regular basis, especially when I'm traveling and it's like something that's very well known there. I might order more than I would feasibly be able to eat because I'm interested in trying it, because I will not have that experience again. That said, this is a place that's close to her house where she lives. She can just get one thing, like the palak paneer and like naan, right? She can just get those 2 things and she can have that, and then like somewhere down the line, if she feels like having it again, she can have it re-delivered. We've seen she doesn't have an issue with getting food delivered, so I don't see what the big deal here is where she can't just do that. I don't know why she had to order this massive amount of food.
It looks really, really good. I almost want to take my wig off so I don't get any Indian food inside of it. So, here goes nothing. Freedom! Little sumo hairdo on. All right!
Okay. I've said this a couple times before that I was not well, like I had a medical thing like last year, basically in the middle of last year in 2019. And when I was in the hospital, I could not really shower. Standing, walking, that sort of stuff was very, very difficult for me. And because it was difficult for me, essentially I couldn't really bathe. I think it was like a good 5-ish days there where like bathing was like it was a non-starter. I couldn't do it. I couldn't stand for long enough for that to be a thing. And I get very self-conscious with people helping me as it is. So what I did was that I would like just sit and I would like wash my body as much as I could, but I wouldn't wash my hair because I couldn't do it. And it got greasy. It got gross. To be honest with you, it was gross. I couldn't help it. I felt disgusting, but it was gross. And to prevent it from at least looking gross, I put like a shit ton of dry shampoo into my hair. Now, I sometimes do wear dry shampoo on a semi-regular basis. I'll wear dry shampoo like once or twice a month. I'll put it into my hair because I have pretty like fine hair. My hair isn't coarse, and so it gets very greasy very fast. And if I washed my hair every other day, like I would need to keep it looking non-greasy all the time, my hair would start falling. So I wash my hair every 3 days, and right now I'm not leaving the house, so I don't really put anything in it. But when I am leaving the house, I'll put a little bit of dry shampoo in it to get it to look fresh. When I'd been in the hospital, I had been putting it in again and again and again. Dry shampoo on top of dry shampoo on top of dry shampoo. All of this sitting in my hair, clagging it up. So what would happen is that if I had my hair up in a ponytail and I took my ponytail out, much like Chantal's hair, it would just sort of stay at funny angles because my hair had so much grit in it, so much texture in it that it would no longer just fall down, right? And that's kind of what's happening here. Her hair is really not clean. I gave you all of that preamble so I can say this with like a relative amount of confidence that her hair is very not clean. And she's been putting dry shampoo and whatever into her hair repetitively. It's not a one-day thing. For it to have gotten to the stage where she takes her wig off and a section of her hair comes up like this and just sort of stays. Because her hair is very much so like my hair in that regard. It's got a very fine, soft texture, right? It's not like coarse hair. Like, you guys haven't seen Partner, but Partner's hair is coarse. It doesn't even grow downwards. It'll just grow upwards a little bit. And his hair texture is like very, very thick, right? Mine is a very fine, very thin, very easily breakable, damageable sort of texture. And hers is very much so the same. I don't like that for a variety of reasons. One, being gross is gross, but 2, also importantly, is that her not putting in energy and effort into her hair, and then also, once again, she's not wearing any makeup, and she looks to be wearing pajama tops again, speaks to her mental health. Because when Chantal is feeling mentally better, she generally tends to present herself as better in front of the camera. She wants to make the effort to look nice. You know, she puts on her really red, as Steve would say from SmokeySteveAndMarc, she puts on her fuck you lipstick. She isn't doing any of that, and she's ordering this massive amount of food. And generally that says to me that her like mental health is not in the best place.
All right, this is steamed basmati rice. It's probably going to be a bit of a longer video, so get cozy. Basmati rice, vegetable biryani. I've never tried biryani. Everything smells so good. I don't know what these sauces are. This, I think, is raita yogurt. This, I don't know. Some kind of chutney, I think. This is mint chutney. We have some garlic naan. Palak paneer, which is spinach and their Indian cheese. 2 vegetable samosas. And we have some delightful chicken tikka, which is chicken marinated in yogurt and tikka spices.
Can I just say, very tiny nitpick. I'm not really saying this to Chantal. I'm saying it to like anyone who's watching who doesn't know. It's not nan, like my nana, right? Like my grandmother. Not nan, it's nan, right? Like none of your business. Kind of like that, right? Okay? Just, I don't know. I don't know why it bothers me so much, but it does. It genuinely does bother me.
I'm actually really excited to do this video for you guys because I had a dream. I was trying to set up to film a McDonald's mukbang and everything was going wrong. Like,
yeah, she is excited to do this video. She's excited because I've said this before and I'll say it again. These videos give her an excuse to overeat. I am not qualified enough to call it a binge, though it looks like a binge to me. I don't know how much she eats the rest of the time, the rest of the day. I don't know what the quantities of food are, so this could not actually meet the clinical definition of a binge. That being said, she does overeat in these videos. Absolutely 100% she's overeating. And the videos that she's doing provide her with a very good reason to do that. Because she can sit in front of the camera, she can eat a really big amount of food, and she can say, well, I'm doing it for my audience. I'm doing it for my job. This isn't just me overeating because I want to. I'm doing it because this is my job. I have to earn a living somehow. And that's why she's excited, because she wants to do it, and this gives her the ability to do it without experiencing any like psychic pain.
All right, I want to see what these sauces are like. I don't know what it is. It's sweet and sour. Let me try this. Oh. It's very chunky. Anyone who grew up on this cuisine know what this is? Oh, this is pickles. Ooh. Oh, that's hot. I'm gonna try the biryani. That's a very, very salty, spicy, weird taste.
Okay. The pickle that she's eating now is not the kind of pickle that she's used to eating, which is why you should maybe think about things before you just do them, right? This is called an achar, and it's generally made with, the most popular ones that I found at least are made with like raw mangoes, and you cut them up into smaller pieces and you pickle them in like oil and like a ton of spices and like a lot of salt. And you're not really supposed to eat them the way you would eat a dill pickle. You can't just crunch through them. It's a lot. It's a very intense punch of flavor. And they're meant to be like that because they're meant to be eaten with blander food. So lentils are a staple of Southeast Asian cuisine. And one of the reasons is that they're cheap and they keep for a very long time on the shelf. So you can buy a large amount of it and then eat it slowly. But lentils can also not be the most exciting food. This is a great way to like spice up, literally, lentils, right? You're making dal, you're making chaval, rice, and you can have this with it, and this will add a lot of that like spicy, sour saltiness that maybe the lentils themselves are lacking. They're not meant to be eaten the way that she just ate them, with a spoon. Another way that you would have them is with papad, papadums, as a lot of people call them. I think papadums is a South Indian, like Chennai, Madras, like those areas, or I think that refer to them as papadums. Don't quote me on this. India is a very, very diverse country, so I could be very off base here. But I've grown up in my family calling them papad. So they're really good, but we have them with papad sometimes. I'm not personally a big fan of any kind of achars. I don't like any pickled foods, to be very frank. I don't like olives. I don't like dill pickles. I don't like anything. So this doesn't surprise me exactly, but I'm surprised you would just go and dig in with a spoon. If you've never, why wouldn't you just try a tiny bit of it first?
Got really discouraged and scared. Because here's the thing. I seen a video about these romance scams. And they prey on women. Probably women who they think would be vulnerable, like older women or overweight women or whatever. And because they think we're desperate. And but basically you get into this scam where they ask for money. Never send anyone money. I wouldn't do that. I don't want to say stupid because I don't want to call these women stupid for doing that.
I'm glad she isn't referring to the people who fall for scams like these as like morons or idiots or anything like that, because the lack of human affection can do really weird things to people. Human beings are very, very social animals. We need other people. We need support from a community. We need love and affection and touch, and all of those things are really important, like to our psychology. So I can understand that if someone gets desperate for that sort of affection, that they can maybe do things that they would not have otherwise considered. They can make mistakes and overlook things that they wouldn't have otherwise considered, right? It doesn't make them bad people. It just makes them susceptible to bullshit from online grifters. I am not surprised that Chantal feels this way, because honestly, it would be a concern to me as well. And I think for Chantal in particular, it's not just the fact that she is an overweight lady and she might be in a desperate position and people might take advantage of that. There is the genuine concern that what if somebody knows who she is and maybe threatens to leak her information or whatnot online, right? There is not an insignificant number of trolls on her in her comments, right? She gets hate for being a fat person on the internet. She gets hate for being a mukbanger of her size. And while a lot of the people that I think are just talking about her behavior and they're talking about how she can be better and do better, I think there are people who just hate her. So maybe if she's doing this through online means, now that she's a significantly bigger channel, she runs the risk of somebody potentially putting up her information online, somebody leaking her information, and not just her name. There's other information. It could be private, personal information, and she might not want out. So I get it, is all I'm saying. Her caution is both understandable and quite honestly appreciated, because I would hate for her to have learned this lesson the hard way.
I'm weary because, like, I would get likes from men who I was like, they look like models. You know, they don't look like real. like they look like catfish. Like, or their profile says, love hiking. And they're like a super fit guy. Like, what would you have? Why the heck would you give me any time of day?
This strikes me as being really sad, the fact that she thinks that no one who likes doing any kind of physical thing couldn't be into her. I mean, people like who they like. You can't change people's preferences. You can't change people's like desires, right? Maybe somebody just likes you because they like you. And I said before, and I'll say it again, Chantal is relatively a conventionally pretty lady. You know, I think when she puts in effort into like making sure she's like clean, not even makeup, but just like, you know, her hair is washed and she's like wearing like not pajamas all the time and her hair is combed and stuff like that, she looks nice. So I would not be surprised that there are people out there who found her very attractive and who would want to be with her. The fact that she doesn't think that makes me really sad for her.
Things like they're like on Tinder, you can pick an anthem, like a song. And like some men would like one guy picked I'm Too Sexy by Right Said Fred, I roll. One guy, it was like an Ariana Grande song. I know this is gonna sound super gel. I don't know if I could like fall in love with a man who likes Ariana Grande. There's nothing against her personally, I just, you know.
What a perfectly shallow thing to say. That you couldn't see yourself falling in love with someone because they like Ariana Grande. That's such a ridiculous thing to judge somebody on. And honestly, I can't think of anything that would matter less. Partner is a hipster, I've said before. And all the music that I've heard that they've recommended to me is like very smaller indie artists and, you know, like very odd musical beats. They like stuff like that. I like anything that comes on the radio. I like pop. So, it's nice. It's nice having somebody who likes very different music than you because it introduces you to things that you would not have otherwise cared about. I think that if there is somebody out there who the fundamentals of life you agree with, I think all the other is just, I will quote The Haunting of Hill House. The rest is just confetti. It doesn't matter. None of it is all that important. It can add things to your life, not subtract from it.
I know this is bad. I watch too many true crime videos, but it's like, serial killer? A lot of them. I was like, could he be a serial killer?
Okay. She's saying this maybe slightly in jest, but like 100%. I feel that way too. It's one of the big reasons why, as much as I like the idea of having like a lot of land, I could never live somewhere that had like a ton of land and where my neighbors weren't within shouting distance because, oh my God, my continuous fear is that what if I was attacked by a serial killer and I'm just screaming and screaming and screaming and no one can hear me because there's nobody around because I live on like 25 acres of like uninhabited land or something like that. I don't know. That I feel that. That's a really weird but really like real fear I have because I too, like Chantal, read and watch a ton of stuff that is just true crime. I get it. I relate to her, okay?
One guy didn't even have his picture was like a blurry picture of his back. He's like, you have to be okay with a dad bod. What?
You know what a dad bod is. You watch enough TV and are on the internet enough to know what a dad bod is. So either you're playing it up for laughs, which I don't understand, or you do know what a dad bod is and you're saying, oh, I could never be with someone who had a dad bod, which is honestly really hypocritical because if you don't want to be judged on the way that you look, then you can't get off on judging other people on the way that they look. That's not appropriate. That's like the definition of hypocrisy.
There was one guy. He was from Senegal with Bibi. And he looked so much like Bibi. I saw an article the other day about a bodybuilder who married a sex doll. Very lifelike doll. And I'm like, how can he, how can he do that, I think we're all wondering, what the heck,
If someone marries a sex doll, I would worry about their mental health because becoming emotionally attached to an object like that doesn't speak to me of someone who is like perfectly mentally healthy and like stable, right? Unless they're doing it for like lulz and are like trolling the internet, in which case, do it, king. I would worry that they formed an inappropriate attachment to an object, and that maybe this is something that a therapist should be dealing with.
But it piqued my curiosity enough so that I looked up male dolls for women, or just for whoever, because males can use them too. There were some pretty cute ones. Sure, they look a bit uncanny. There's that uncanny valley kind of thing going on.
There's a reason why I think human beings don't like that like uncanny valley that she's talking about right now. I don't know how anyone could feel comfortable with a sex doll, to be very frank, because anything that's that dead in the eyes like creeps me out. And like, same way I feel very uncomfortable. I've been to like a Madame Tussauds wax museum and I felt viscerally uncomfortable because they look very lifelike, but not. They're almost lifelike. They're like just one hair away, and I don't like that. And I like did some Googling, and as it turns out, it's because unlike most other animals who don't really have a fear of death, human beings are actively afraid of dying. Like, we recognize the limited experience that we have been gifted. And basically that makes it so that when we see things that are like mannequins that are very, very like lifelike, but not quite, it makes us think of corpses. And that's why it makes us uncomfortable. Now, I don't actually have any proof for this, and I read it on Reddit. So, I mean, who knows if that's exactly correct. But it does kind of strike me as true. Like, it does deeply unsettle me.
It comes with different sizes, appendages. One was like 10 inches. And when I saw that, I was like, yeah, every guy who I've ever been with completely lied about that. Yeah, every guy you meet, 10 inches. Sure. Now I know it's false. They're probably more like 5 or 6.
Can I just say, has she never seen 10 inches in any other context before? Because I mean, like, I've used to have hair that was like well past my butt. So like, I'd be like, yeah, can you cut 10 inches off? And so I'm not surprised. No one's gonna pull one over me and be like, yeah, this is, 10 inches, when in reality I'm looking at something that's 6 inches. I can tell. But I'm genuinely confused. Has she never seen a ruler before? The way she's talking about it, you would think that up until this point, she's never come across anything that is 10 inches.
I think it would be really interesting to spice up that part of my life. And really, you don't ever have to feel shy, intimidated, let down. They're never going to leave you. They're never going to break your heart unless you want them to. You're the only girl in their life. They can't fart. I know, I saw. Coming. You know what I mean? You can't be grossed out in any way. Morning breath, nothing. They're always ready to go. Round 2, round 3, round 4. No. You're crushing me. Or, I need air. I need air. None of that.
Oh, honey. See, it's stuff like this that, like, really makes me feel for her. That, like, it genuinely does. I said it just earlier, right? I think every human being is deserving of love and affection and care and respect and all of those things. And the fact that she thinks that the only way she can get that is maybe with a sex doll. I know she's saying this in passing, but the tone with which she speaks does not imply joke to me. Maybe the getting of the doll is a joke, but the emotions that she's just given it, the implication that what a sex doll could have for her, that rings very true to me. And those examples she gave, like, I would not think that, oh, you're crushing me. That's not a thing that I would experience. But the fact that that's where her mind went speaks very highly to how she views herself getting into a relationship going forward. And it's genuinely really sad, and I feel very sad for her.
I'm not trolling. I'm not pulling your fingers. I'm being honest. I'm considering shopping around, saving money, and buying a lifelike doll. And they're expensive. It depends, but if you want a custom one, it can be like up to like $25,000. Or you can get a pre-made one for like $2,000.
She is trolling. Don't believe her. She's not going to get this sex doll thing. I don't think that Chantal... Okay, maybe she could prove me wrong because Chantal has done it before, but I don't think she's going to get this doll because it's expensive, and also it would require effort on her part to actually make like kind of like skits, quote unquote, with this doll, and I don't think she's going to be up for that. Even if she does order it, I think we're going to see it like twice and then never again. That said, I do respect the hustle. If she does get this doll, I think that it could do that would be entertaining to me. I mean, that I would watch the hell out of that.
That's what I'm thinking. And of course, when I do get one, he'll be in videos with me. Obviously. What do you guys think? I hope you won't judge me for it, because I'm serious.
She's reaction baiting here. There's no like two ways about it. She's absolutely reaction baiting. She absolutely wants people to react to it, to talk about it, to make mean comments about it. Because A, then she can turn around and be like, well, see, they're always just mean to me. And B, she can be like, they obviously can't take a joke. I don't know how she's going to play it, but that's what she's doing. And sometimes, honestly, her reaction baiting confuses me because she doesn't like the criticism that she receives 9 times out of 10. So why try and provoke people? If I felt that every time someone said something to me and it was upsetting my feelings, I would just say things that I felt, like the way that Amber Lynn does. I would just curate the experience that people have when they talk to me. You know what I mean? But I don't know why she does this, where she purposefully goes out of her way to provoke a reaction and then is startled and upset by the reaction. Oh my God. If she does end up getting this thing though, I want her to do every single boyfriend tag there is on the internet. Like, do one every single week. I would watch the hell out of that. Have Pete's like hold its arms behind it and it's like move them a little bit and like sound the talk in like a weird high-pitched voice. Like, I would watch it. Like, just like I really liked their Smiley Pete's thing, and I'm looking forward to the abominable Pete's video that they're going to put out. Like, this would be something that I think would be genuinely entertaining. And I don't think I've seen this anywhere on YouTube. Next.
All right, guys, I did fluff out the tree a little bit more.
Spruce Springsteen is a great name for a mini Christmas tree. I love it. I genuinely love it. I adore terrible puns. I like that outfit on her. The sleeves are actually very nice because I feel like a lot of times women will carry a lot of their weight in their upper arms, like a lot of heavier ladies. Well, I've told you guys before, I have chicken flappies, so like I'm not sitting out here on like digging into Chantal or anything like that. It's just a thing that happens, right? Like, I've lost weight, and so I've got a little bit of extra sorry about the mic. I've got a little bit of extra over here, which I don't like, but it is what it is. And, you know, I'm not particularly self-conscious about it, I guess you could say. So sometimes when you do carry a little bit of extra weight in your upper arms, you know, having sleeves that are long and flowy and loose like that can be a really good thing, because it can both, like having that sort of flare at the end, can both provide a little bit of shape and give you a little bit of a flair to your outfit, but it can also prevent that sort of tightness that can happen in shirts that like I don't know why they build shirts like that, but sometimes shirts are unexpectedly tight in the arms, and it's a personal pet peeve of mine. Like, I can't wear things that are like tight in the arms. It makes me very uncomfortable, and so I think it looks good. The pants are also nice. I've said before, I don't really like patterned pants very much, especially not on like legs that are maybe like a little bit more like unevenly shaped, because when the pattern is disrupted you can really tell there. But this pattern is pretty small, and so it sort of acts almost like a camouflage. It's harder to tell, and overall I think the outfit looks nice.
Haha, peppermint mocha. Haha. I got my stash.
Does she get a Starbucks drink every day? Those are like 400 calories or 500 calories each. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having a Starbucks drink. Go ahead and get your frappe on. But like, maybe do it every like once in a while. Like I try, if I'm getting a coffee from outside, I try and get it, well, pre-pandemic. I used to only get a coffee like once every 2 weeks, 1 week or 2 weeks, something like that. You know, I would get like a coffee, or more often than not, honestly, I would get a boba because that's what I like. But that much sugar, and it's just sugar and coffee. So it's like, it's a lot. So I wouldn't recommend it, but Chantal's gonna Chantal, basically. And also, why 3 cookies? Why not just get 1 cookie and be satisfied on the 1 cookie? And if you're out again and you want another cookie, get another cookie. Why buy so many cookies all at once?
These roads are stimulating my bowels in a bad way.
Can we please just have one video, please, without having to talk about your bowels? Just one video. I'm begging you. Next. Why is she buying so much Lush products? I mean, it's not time for another box, I don't think. So this is like just more Lush stuff that she's accumulating for no reason that I can find, at least.
Here we have scrambled eggs, home fries, bacon, sausage, 2 sausage links, and some toast.
This is the type of breakfast that she could have 100% made at home, right? I'm pretty sure she has bacon in the fridge. You can fry up a couple of eggs and make some sausages. And like, even if you really like this sort of thing, have like potatoes in the house and you can make home fries, or hell, just buy frozen hash browns if you really want to. Why order it in from outside? Why not just make yourself some eggs at home? I can understand if every once in a while on the weekend, if you've had a long, hard week and you don't feel like cooking, then yeah, go ahead and order whatever you want, even if it's like an easy convenience meal, right? Like we have, there's like a diner place close to us, and sometimes when it's been a really long week, partner and I will just order like breakfast or dinner from there, and it's never anything very special, and the food there is generally about as well as like you could make at home, quite honestly, and sometimes not even that much. But at the same time, it's like I don't have to cook it myself, and partner does not know how to cook. So it makes it a lot easier for us if we're in a bind like that. She's not in a bind. She has the time right now, so I don't know why she isn't making herself breakfast. The rest of this is basically she just does another drive-through Christmas thing. It looks nice, but like I said with the other 2 that she did, it's like fine, but it's not something that I think the viewer enjoys as much as she would. And then she has a pastry at the end. She has this thing, it's called the beaver tail. She's mentioned it before. It basically looks kind of like a sweet, flat pizza. It looks really tasty, but I mean, anything with like dough and sugar and like butter is going to be delicious. So I'm not entirely surprised that it looks like deliciousness, right? I've never had a beaver tail before, so I can't tell you from personal experience if they're good. I have had a sweet pizza. I've had a sourdough sweet pizza, and it was amazing, but I don't think that's the same thing. That will be it from me. Let me know if you liked this video. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it, and give me a thumbs down if you didn't. And if you didn't, that's totally okay. You don't have to like it. I respect everybody's opinion. Leave me a comment down below if there's something you'd like me to really, really know. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Hit the notification bell if you want to know when I upload videos. And if you want to know when I upload all my videos, you can hit all. I've linked all my social medias down below. I've got Instagram, where I put all of my food stuff and my life stuff, but right now I don't have a life stuff, so it's just food stuff. But I'm a pretty good cook, so that's where you can find that content. I've got Twitter, where I'm a little bit toxic and a little bit petty, And I put all my channel updated stuff, and that's generally the easiest place to reach me and talk to me. So if you're interested in that kind of content, that's where you can find it. I've got Patreon. Think of Patreon as the tip jar for the internet. So if you like the job that I'm doing here and you want to toss a couple of coins in my direction, that's where you can do it. All the money that you give me will go directly towards buying me another pair of glasses. You guys haven't seen me wearing glasses in a very long time, and that's because, fun fact, these are actually broken. So I gotta go get these fixed. I will be using your funds for that. So think about it. My site is an important fund. If I can't see you guys, I will have a harder time making content. I'm just joking. You don't have to, but if you could, I would appreciate it. And if you're not feeling Patreon, which totally understandable, maybe consider joining the community down below and help me name it. I don't have a name for it right now, so far it's just going by unnamed community. But if you guys have a name for it and you would like to join it, you can hit the join button down below and consider supporting me that way. Once more, you don't have to, no pressure, but think about it. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, I'm Jasmine, the sequel, and I am not relatable. Peace. That will be it from me.